Ron.
Here.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
You done messed up, Ron.
Aaron is here once again this afternoon. Thank you for joining me all on this fine Sunday. Guys, we're having a little bit of fun. I figured, it feels like a good time to go back and revisit what I, in my videos, frequently refer to as the crazy Tom Cruise black turtleneck video. And I'm not sure how many people actually know what I'm talking about. This, in the world of Scientology, in the world of Tom Cruise and Scientology, is the video that changed everything. This was the pivotal turning point between Tom Cruise, the actor, who happens to be a Scientologist and every now and then will mention it in an interview, and Tom Cruise assuming his full and ultimate form as Tom Cruise, the super Scientologist, who is super intense and was always talking about Scientology and was shutting down Matt Lauer and was shutting down Peter Overton on 60 Minutes Australia and was jumping on Oprah Winfrey's couch. That personality shift occurred rather abruptly. And the video that I'm about to share with you, I about 18 months ago, when I started uploading every day to my channel, before I even knew how to do live streaming, before anything, I did a reaction video to this video. That was a long time ago when I had about 30,000 subscribers. Today is a new day, and it just feels right to revisit it. This is going to be a relatively short video. The video that we're going to watch is about 9 minutes long. I'll try not to provide too much commentary, but you guys know I won't be able to help it. So let's just jump right into this. By the way, the date of this video, the date of the Scientology event where this video was shown to every Scientologist in the world was October 2004. The date that Tom Cruise went on Matt Lauer, said, Matt, you're glib. You're glib. Do you even know what Ritalin? You don't even know what Ritalin is. Was June 2005. I'm not good at math, you guys. I grew up in a cult, but I think that's about 7 months. So to Scientologists, when they saw Tom Cruise going on Matt Lauer and all these other shows when he was doing his War of the Worlds press junket, who they saw was Tom Cruise, the Scientologist, the IAS Freedom Medal of Valor winner. Okay, guys, the video that I'm about to share with you, I swear to God, the voiceover is not a joke. This is, I think is it Jeff Pomerantz? Jeff Pomerantz, the Scientologist who does these Scientology event voiceovers. It is not satire. It is real. And the Mission Impossible theme song that's looped in the background, I have not added that. That is not added in the upload that we're watching. That was the original soundtrack in the original video that was produced by Scientology's Golden Era Productions. And this is exactly as it was aired to all Scientologists in the world. I remember I was there at the event. I was blown away. You have to understand, when I was in Scientology, I was David Miscavige's #1 fan. I was Tom Cruise's #1 fan. I loved every little bit of this video the first time that I watched it. I watch it now, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking, guys. It's almost like I was in a cult. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's take a look at this bad boy.
But if that's what Mr. Cruise has brought to this world, there still remains one more word on the man. Call it Tom Cruise on Tom Cruise Scientologist.
I think it's a privilege to call yourself a Scientologist, and it's something that you have to earn. And because a Scientologist does, he or she has the ability to create new and better realities and improve conditions. Being a Scientologist, you look at someone and you know absolutely that you can help them. So for me, it really is KSW, and it's just like, it's something that I don't mince words with that, with anything that LRH does, but that policy to me has really gone, boy. And there's a time I went through and I said, you know what? When I read it, I just went, this is it. This is exactly it. Being a Scientologist, when you drive past an accident, it's not like anyone else. As you drive past, you know you have to do something about it because you know you're the only one that can really help. But that's That's what drives me, is that I know that we have an opportunity and to really help for the first time, effectively change people's lives. And I am dedicated to that. I'm absolutely, uncompromisingly dedicated to that. The orgs are there to help, okay? But we as also the public, it's like, we have a responsibility. It's not just the orgs. It's not just Dave Miscavige. It's not just me. It's you. It's everyone out there kind of rereading KSW and looking at what needs to be done and saying, okay, am I going to do it or am I not going to do it? Period. And am I going to look at that guy or am I too afraid because I have my own out ethics to put in someone else's ethics? And that's all it comes down to. Because I won't hesitate to put ethics in on someone else, because I put it ruthlessly in on myself. And I think that I respect that in others. And, I'm there to help, and we're here to help. And my opinion is that, look,
I'm saving all my comments for the end, you guys.
you're on board or you're not on board, okay? But just, if you're on board just like the rest of us, period. We are the authorities on getting people off drugs. We are the authorities on the mind. We are the authorities on improving conditions. Criminon, we can rehabilitate criminals. Way to happiness, we can bring peace and unite cultures. That once you know these tools and you know that they work, it's not good enough that I'm just doing okay. Traveling the world and meeting the people that I've met, talking with these leaders in various fields. They want help, and they are depending on people who know and who can be effective and do it. And that's us. That is our responsibility to do that. It is the time now. Now is the time, okay? It is, being a Scientologist, people are turning to you, so you better know it. You better know it. And if you don't, go and learn it, but don't pretend you know it or for, whatever. It's like, we're here to help. I mean, if you're a Scientologist, you see life, you see things the way they are in all its glory, all of its complexity. And the more you know as a Scientologist, you don't become overwhelmed by it. And I went, they said, so, like, have you met an SP? I looked at them, and I thought, oh, what a beautiful thing, because maybe one day it'll be like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one day it will be that. Wow, SPs, like, they'll just read about those in the history books,
Literally all three of this dude's Scientologist ex-wives have been declared SPs. No one makes more SPs than Tom Cruise. Maybe that's why he's not marrying anyone else. Maybe David said, Tom, could you stop marrying Scientology women? You keep turning them into SPs.
No, the thing is, I just go through that tech, and it's not how to run from an SP. It's PTSSP, how to shatter suppression, confront shatter suppression. You apply it, it's like, boom. Because they don't come up to me. They won't do it to me. Not to my face, or anywhere in my vicinity where they feel they can be confronted. That's what I'm doing. Look, I wish the world was a different place. I'd like to go on vacation and go and romp and play and just do that. You know what I mean?
Don't Tom Cruise and David Miscavige go romp and play with each other all the time? I mean, I know I grew up in a cult, but I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure they do.
I mean, that's what I want it to be, okay? That's how I would, there's times I'd like to do that, but I can't, because
He needs to take the introductory Scientology course called How to Romp and Play.
I know. So, I have to do something about it. It's not, you can sit here and wish it was different, and then you look at it and you go, okay, this is it. All right, okay. And there's that moment where you go, I have to do something, don't I? Yeah.
Guys, this was the final freaking edit. Imagine what kind of footage they had to go through for this to be the final edit they decided to show to every Scientologist in the world.
I really have to do it because I can't live with myself if I don't. And that really is it. I don't care if someone thinks it's hard or easy. You're either helping and contributing everything you can, or you're not. Okay? Because I'm carrying my load. All right? And only that, as much as I'm carrying, I still feel like I got to do more. All right? There's still a thing of, let's go. You can just see the look in their eyes. You know the ones that are doing, and you know the spectators who are the ones that are going, well, it's easy for you, or what am I doing? And it's just, that thing is, I've canceled that in my area. It's like, man, you're either in or you're out. That's spectatorism, and it's something that is, we have no time for it now. So it's our responsibility to educate, create the new reality. We have that responsibility to say, hey, this is the way it should be done, because we do it this way and people are actually getting better, and let's get it done. Let's really get it done and have enough love, compassion, and toughness that you're gonna do it. And
only 2 more minutes left, guys.
Do it right. And I have to tell you something. It is, it's rough and tumble, and it's wild and woolly, and it's a blast. It's a blast. It really is fun, because damn it, there's nothing better than going out there and fighting a fight, and suddenly you see things are better. I want to know that I've done everything I could every day. And I think about those people out there who are depending on us. And I think about that. And it does make me feel like, man, there's, we got more work. I need more help. Get those spectators either in the playing field or out of the arena. That's how I feel about it. I do what I can, and I do it the way I do everything. There's nothing part of the way for me. It's just.
A Scientologist can be defined by a single question. Would you want others to achieve the knowledge you now have? In answering that question, Tom Cruise has introduced LOH technology to over 1 billion people of Earth. And that's only the first wave he's unleashed, which is why the story of Tom Cruise, Scientologist, has only just begun.
Wow. There you go. That was the video that changed everything. That Tom Cruise transformed into his ultimate form as Tom Cruise, Scientologist. Okay, I did make some notes as I went through this just for some commentary. By the way, the IAS Freedom Medal is considered like the highest award that a Scientologist can be given. It's specifically for public Scientologists. It's not supposed to be for staff members. It's not supposed to be for Sea Org members. After 9/11, it was a very big deal because they gave an IAS Freedom Medal to a staff member. And that was a little bit of a gimmick that was supposed to make it even more popular to join staff, but it didn't work. Generally speaking, these medals are only given to public Scientologists. And they give about 3 or 4 a year. And every year in October at the International Association of Scientologists event, they give out a few of these medals. By the way, Louis Farrakhan's deputy for the Western United States, Tony Muhammad, was given an award a few years ago. Okay, but the special award that Tom Cruise got was the IAS Freedom Medal of Valor, which is probably 2 or 3 times the size of the normal Freedom Medal, and it's bedazzled with all sorts of diamonds, and I think it's probably in platinum and all sorts of crap like that. Only Tom Cruise has ever been given that medal. It was invented for Tom. It's what makes Tom special. Okay, so KSW, in the very beginning of the video, when he says KSW, there is a policy letter in Scientology. The name of the policy letter is called Keeping Scientology Working. It is the most important policy letter of Scientology. You know that because there's a paragraph, there's a notice on the top of the policy letter saying this is the most important policy letter in all of Scientology. And that policy letter is the first reference that you read in the beginning of every major Scientology course. That's one of the reasons that it is the most important policy letter of Scientology, or vice versa. So when he says KSW, because what that policy says is these are the steps that you have to do to make sure Scientology continues to work for the rest of eternity as we proliferate to other planets in the Galactic Confederation. The Galactic Federation. And, the essence of that policy is that any body of knowledge changes and evolves over time. And Hubbard's theory was that it changes for the worse. And then in order for Scientology to remain effective and workable, it has to remain pure and it has to remain unchanged. And he gives the 10 steps that you have to follow to ensure to keep Scientology working and to ensure that Scientology will continue to keep working forever. And those 10 points of KSW, they're known as the 10 points of KSW. Every Scientologist is more or less expected to know these things verbatim. And so when he says, I don't mince words with that, that's what he's talking about. When he says it's not just the orgs, it's not just David Miscavige, it's not just me who has the responsibility to keep Scientology working. Do you see what he's done there? He has put himself on the same plane as David Miscavige. And I think there's someone, I don't remember who quoted Tom Cruise as saying this, but he was saying to someone as far as what he considered his role in Scientology to be. And he goes, there's LRH, and then there's David Miscavige, and then there's me. Now, some people have interpreted that quote to mean that Tom Cruise is literally the second in command of Scientology. And in some ways, I understand why people would think that, or the ways in which that would be true. Like if Tom Cruise went into any Four Seasons hotel in the world and he gave any staff member at any Four Seasons hotel an order, those staff members would carry out that order. That doesn't mean Tom Cruise is the second in command of the company that owns Four Seasons Hotel. The quote is really intended to show what Tom Cruise sees as his responsibility to ensure the success of Scientology. And to be sure, any Scientologist in the world would do anything Tom Cruise says. He's not really second in command of Scientology, but you can see how people would feel that way. Okay. So he goes, just reread KSW, just reread KSW. Guys, after this event aired and this event video aired, David Miscavige had the Keeping Scientology Working policy letter issued to all Scientologists in the world in a little pamphlet about yay big. Every Scientologist in the world had to reread KSW and get checked out on it, meaning had to sit down with another staff member who would go through the policy and verify their understanding of the policy letter. And the orgs had to report compliance to David Miscavige that every single Scientologist staff member and Sea Org member had reread Keeping Scientology Working because Tom Cruise said so. It was absolutely incredible. Okay, and he goes, I'm not afraid to put someone else, someone should be afraid to put an ethics on someone else because they've got their own out ethics. That's how Scientologists think, that the only reason you wouldn't insist that someone else improve or change their behavior is because you know that you have the same problem. And so it creates a blind spot for you. And so you don't see the problem in the other person and you don't handle it in the other person. Hey, little Tommy, who had the blind spot in relation to Danny Masterson? Which of the key Scientology management personnel failed to put in ethics on Danny Masterson because they had their own out ethics that they weren't dealing with? And why didn't you and your best buddy, little Captain Dave of the fake space Navy, put in Danny Masterson's ethics? Just a rhetorical question, not expecting an answer. Okay, then he says, I won't hesitate to put an ethics on other people. Guys, when you saw that video or heard that video of Tom Cruise just absolutely screaming at the top of his lungs at a few crew members on Mission Impossible for standing a little too close to each other during, the film had reopened. The film had resumed shooting under very strict guidelines, and you heard him just losing his ever-loving shit on those crew members. That is an example of what Tom Cruise says when he says, I will not hesitate to put ethics in on others because I put it in ruthlessly on myself, and I respect that in others, putting in ethics on others. Okay, that's considered putting in ethics on people, screaming at them like that. Okay, so then he says, you're on board or you're not. He talks about spectatorism. Spectatorism in Scientology has been redefined to be this negative thing. Spectatorism doesn't just mean observing something. It's sort of an attitude, a state of mind that whatever's going on over there has nothing to do with me. Someone else will fix it. It's not my responsibility. That's what Scientology defines as spectatorism. Okay, we are the authorities on the mind and improving conditions. Criminon, way to happiness. Scientology can't even bring peace. He talks about Criminon, way to happiness, bringing peace. Scientology can't even bring peace to the 3 square blocks around its biggest base in Hollywood. A Sea Org member got shot walking from the base to the apartment building where the Sea Org members live. I wonder why. Maybe they just didn't hand out enough Way to Happiness books. I thought Scientology had already brought peace in the Middle East by handing out Way to Happiness books to, everyone. If I even say the words, this video will get instantly demonetized. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I guess the Way to Happiness isn't really all it's cracked up to be. Doesn't even seem to be able to work in Scientology's own neighborhoods. Okay, so the leaders of the world, they want help. They're depending on people who know and are effective, and that's us. Guys, this is, I swear to God, how Scientologists think. Scientologists truly believe, because of the propaganda that David Miscavige puts out at the international events, which are starting up again, that the leaders of the world are seeking solutions and answers and help from Scientology. By the way, after this video was aired at this event in October 2004, Tom Cruise then came up on stage and gave a speech to all the members in attendance. That speech was broadcast to every Scientologist in the world. And he said, I've met all of the world's leaders. I've met the leaders of leaders. And to you, Mr. Miscavige, I say, and he basically said that David Miscavige is more competent and effective and caring than all of the world's leaders of leaders that Tom Cruise has met. Please do not underestimate the effect that Tom Cruise's words had on all Scientologists in the world going, Tom Cruise really would know, wouldn't he? Tom Cruise really has met presidents and prime ministers and all these people. Tom Cruise vouching for David Miscavige was a very, very big deal for an awful lot of Scientologists in the world. Okay, so anyway, I could go on and on and on this, you guys, but I didn't really want to take too long on this. I'd like to romp. I'd like to play. I'd like to romp and play. Me and my little buddy, Lil Captain Davy of the fake Space Navy, we'd like to go romp and play with each other. You got a guy worth hundreds of millions of dollars who does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, all over the world. And he's talking to Sea Org members who work 100 hours a week for $50 a week, who aren't allowed to go home for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, aren't allowed to take a honeymoon, aren't allowed to celebrate birthdays. And he's saying, Tom Cruise would like to romp and play, but there's just too much damn work to do. David Miscavige used Tom Cruise's words to beat figuratively. For once, he was only beating people figuratively, to beat all Scientologists in the world over the head with, if Tom Cruise can't go romp and play, how dare you ask to go romp and play? You want to take a day off? Disapproved. You cannot overestimate the impact that this video and Tom Cruise's speech and Tom Cruise's words had on David Miscavige's ability to manipulate and continue to abuse Scientology's Sea Org members and staff members. Have you ever seen an SP? Maybe it'll be like that one day. Maybe the SPs will only be in the history books. I said it before, I'll say it again. Every woman Tom Cruise has been married to has been declared a suppressive person by Scientology. So what is it, Tom? Did you fail to observe and recognize them for the SPs they truly were all along? Which means what was your ethics blind spot? What was your out ethics that you didn't see and handle someone else's out ethics? Or did getting married to you literally turn them into an SP? Now, this is a rhetorical question, guys. There ain't no such damn thing as an SP. It's a myth created by L. Ron Hubbard to create good guys and bad guys and black hats and white hats and us versus them. And we're the good guys. They're the bad guys. All attacks on us come from the SPs. It's a very convenient plot device. I hope more and more Scientologists wake up to the fact that just think of anyone you've known who was declared an SP. And all it was is for saying something that David Miscavige didn't like, doing something that David Miscavige didn't like. In my opinion, people who abuse underage, people who abuse children in the way I'm talking about, those are the real SPs. People who break Scientology's rules, get out of here. Ain't no SPs. Okay, he talks about there's a quote. There's this quote he says in this video. It's not called How to Run from an SP. It's called How to Confront and Shatter. So the course in Scientology that teaches you about suppressive people and potential trouble sources is called the PTS-SP course, How to Confront and Shatter Suppression. I'll tell you what, guys, I walk into a store where there's Scientologists. Those Scientologists are running for the door. So I don't know whatever happened to confronting and shattering suppression, but the course literally might as well be called How to Run and Hide from an SP. The other week when there was a protest outside on L. Ron Hubbard Boulevard, all of the staff and SEERG members were told to run inside and hide. So honestly, they should just rename the course How to Run and Hide from an SP. Anyway, oh my God, I could go on and on here, you guys. You know who's doing everything they can do just by the look in their eye. I don't know if it was just that easy to diagnose what's going on in someone's head just by that fixed, dedicated glare or the lack thereof. What happened with you and all your wives, Lil Tommy Cruise? I mean, Mimi Rogers, to the best of my recollection, his first wife, is the one who actually got Tom into Scientology. You could not be less of an SP than getting Tom Cruise into Scientology, and yet Mimi herself ended up declared an SP, as did her father. Absolutely incredible. Tom Cruise says he's carrying his load. Something tells me he's also carrying David Miscavige's load, if you know what I'm saying. And so, yeah. And then at the end of the video, what did they say? Tom Cruise has introduced Scientology to 1 billion people. Guys, there's about 25,000 Scientologists in the world. There's about 25,000. There are more members of the Nation of Islam, of Louis Farrakhan's Nation of Islam, the black separatist Muslim group. It's not really Muslim, but they call themselves that. There are more members of Louis Farrakhan's private club than there are Scientologists in the entire world. But Tom Cruise has introduced Scientology to 1 billion people. Scientologists believe this propaganda. I speak from personal experience. I believed all this propaganda. I thought Tom Cruise was helping us save the world. He was going to carry us over the goal line on his backs. Him and David Miscavige, both. If I believed it, I got to tell you, I believe that Tom Cruise believes it. I believe that Tom Cruise has been so thoroughly convinced by David Miscavige that Lil Tommy Cruise and Lil Captain Dave of the fake Space Navy are the 2 big beings on Earth upon whose phaeton shoulders rests the eternity of all mankind, not just on this planet, but in this sector of the galaxy and on all the planets of the Galactic Federation. I believe that they actually believe that. And if you can get somebody to believe that, you can get them to do anything. Anyhow, figured we'd have a little bit of fun with this on this Sunday afternoon, and that's what we did. Anon says, I was one of those Scientologists who loved this Tom Cruise event video. I was sitting in the audience in glee watching him. Now it's creepy to me. Indeed. Oh, this was the event video where David Miscavige introduced Tom Cruise as the most dedicated Scientologist I know. And when he said those words, the whole audience gasped. Now, a lot of people I've heard say that when they were there at that event and they heard Miscavige say that, they were incredibly offended. Sea Org members were incredibly offended that he would put Tom Cruise over Sea Org members. Now, me personally, it never even occurred to me that Miscavige was actually trying to put Tom Cruise into the same category as staff members and Sea Org members. In retrospect, he probably was, but I wasn't offended at the time because when I hear the word dedicated Scientologist, to me, a Scientologist is a public Scientologist, and a staff member and a Sea Org member, you wouldn't refer to them as a Scientologist, you refer to them as a staff member or a Sea Org member. So I thought he was putting Tom Cruise over and above all other public Scientologists. And to me, I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's awesome that David Miscavige is saying that. So yeah, but people took that a different way. The one true Morbs, I won't hesitate to put an ethics equals, I will go Old Testament on your ass. It's amazing how this entire video literally says nothing of value. It really is amazing. Okay, the next one, Salty Carmen. This is why I cannot watch his movies. I know a lot of people feel that way. I actually don't have a problem watching his movies, although I haven't seen probably his last 3 or 4. It's not because I have some principled stance of not watching his movies. I actually don't have a problem watching his movies. I almost watch his movies going, I want to see if Tom Cruise, once he did this video, he completely lost the ability to disappear into his characters. And I don't know if that's something that actually changed in him or if it's just something that changed in my perception of him. I could no longer watch Tom Cruise and see a character. I could only see Tom Cruise, the super Scientologist, pretending to be a character. And it's always ruined his movies for me. So I'm always wondering, is he going to go back to being a real actor again? Or is he just going back to being a super Scientologist all the time? And he's never been able to go back to just being an actor. MB826, Aaron, Austin Org should pay property taxes. Sent email today. I'll take a look at that. Thank you very much. Patty Moher. Aaron, I'm the one that leaked that Tom Cruise video with the help of a few SPs. Great story. Patty, you got to email me. growingupinScientology@gmail.com. I want to hear the story. And if you want to come on and do a video with me about it, let's do it. Lathanda Grauklinger. As someone who makes money from movies and theaters, isn't it kind of counterproductive to say, throw the spectators out? You would think so, Lathanda, but again, spectators has a specialized definition in Scientology. So Prince Muskie, I'm surprised Tom Cruise doesn't look down on David Miscavige for being a smoker. Seems weak. He can't stop. And being OT1000, what does Tom Cruise think, in your opinion? L. Ron Hubbard smoked. There's a quote, I think it was a joke, but there's a quote where L. Ron Hubbard says, smoking doesn't cause cancer. Not smoking enough causes cancer. I mean, I think that was just a joke. But because L. Ron Hubbard smoked, it's not considered bad in Scientology to smoke. It's not considered weak. It's not considered a vice. It's not considered a drug. It's considered totally okay. I'm actually surprised that Tom doesn't smoke, just so that he and his best little friend, little Captain Davy of the fake space Navy, can hang out and share an unfiltered Camel cigarette together. All right, guys, that's it for me on this one. Thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not,